Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified executive and business coach based here in the Dayton, Ohio area, part of Action Coach and our global coaching network. I think you're going to love this entrepreneurial story here of Sam Millspaw. Really a leader, high growth industry that for decades we as a nation took for granted, but now is really at the forefront of our advancements in technology around better support for our power generation and systems businesses. So if you're new to the spotlight, we're thrilled to have you join us. Encourage you to hit the subscribe button so you can receive future inspiring messages like you're going to hear from Sam today as well. So without any further ado, Sam Millspaw, who's the president of Millspaw Electronics, and really a provider of consulting services, electronics consulting in the power plant industry, both nuclear and other conventional type power plants as well. Just an intriguing story. Sam, we're thrilled to have you join us. If you could take us a minute, share us a little bit about your background, how you got involved in this industry, and your journey launching your own electronics firm.
Todd, thank you for having me today. Um, yes, I would be glad to give you a little of my background. I've worked my entire career in electronics, most of that related to power plants and other regulated industries like aerospace and medical, um, but commercial as well. And I started my business 6 years ago. And at that time, I already had some extensive industry experience. But I started out consulting in embedded systems design for commercial products, and that is a segment of the business that we still continue to maintain to this day. And the flavor that we bring to that is the degree of quality and technical rigor that we're used to providing for our regulated clients, we bring that same rigor to commercial products. Um, so in the last several years in particular, we have, as a business, uh, developed services around obsolescence management for nuclear power plants and consulting in general for power plants. And what that means is we will provide repair refurbishment services, reverse engineering and remanufacturing of electronics that have gone obsolete from their original manufacturers, and customized product solutions that allow integration between new and old systems. As you can imagine, a power plant is quite complex. So as they replace one system but not another, they still need them to work together, and we can help with that.
So, but to unpack that, there's a lot there. I mean, really helping these power plants not only extend the life of their current systems, but also kind of bridge this current system until they can get that next series of upgrades in place, right? While still having the reliability that we all depend on to make sure the lights stay on every day, right?
That's true, Todd. We actually help with the bridging strategy as well, which is to say, when they begin to realize that they have a problem because a system that has been reliable for decades suddenly starts to have hiccups, they want to immediately address that problem and continue to operate reliably with no downtime. However, the reality of the world is that it can take a very long time, potentially up to years, to design, specify, procure, manufacture, install, verify a new system. And so in that intervening time, they need to have a strategy in place to ensure that this equipment that is starting to be flaky will not cause any issue over that 2 year period. And that is where the services that we provide really help them get through that. And we help with the strategy as a whole.
Hey, thank you. So again, your ideal customers then are the operators of power plants predominantly, or are there other contractors and consultants as well?
Yes, that is definitely an ideal customer, operators of power plants. However, given that we had our roots in embedded systems design and consulting, those are ideal customers as well, and we still support commercial work, owners of a factory, owners of a small business that may have a product idea or offering but don't have the capability to have a full-time engineering staff. We can help those clients. What is important to us for a fit is that they value the type of technical rigor that we provide, because we have a get it right the first time mentality. We're not necessarily the lowest price on a competitive bid, but we're often the lowest price at the end of a job.
So before we hit record, we talked about several of the different growth strategies that you've had and the tremendous growth you've had in recent years as well. If you want, maybe walk through, share examples of how you've been able to get your name out there, some of the marketing strategies that help kind of raise awareness for the business.
Todd, the best and most effective strategy that we've had is attending and presenting at trade shows and conferences. Uh, and there have been challenges with that where, you know, sometimes you don't know on the front end if you will be able to engage with the right people at a trade show, and you try it. And sometimes, it is an amazing experience. And sometimes you wonder if that was really something that was worthwhile. But the important thing that I would advise people to, if they're planning to adopt a similar strategy, advise them to keep in mind is that the payoff for, um, you know, acquiring a good, reliable client is often worth, the attendance cost for multiple trade shows. So you can go through a couple duds and keep getting your name out there, and still have it be an incredible payoff in the long run.
Okay. Any other kind of marketing awareness building strategies that have paid off for you guys?
So, the trade shows, as I mentioned, are a great way to get the name out. That's often been a way to engage with new customers and build awareness that we're here. But once a power plant knows about our services and is intrigued, they typically want to try us out with a small project, verify that we are what we say we are and we deliver our promises.
Mhm.
And once we've done that, we've had incredible success with repeat work, increasing scope and complexity of projects, and word of mouth referrals within a single organization or even from one organization to another.
The same, again, the power of word of mouth resonates throughout every industry, right? And how ways in which you can encourage that really kind of amplify your growth. So thank you.
It's true. And you know, an important piece of that is make sure that they're happy.
All right. Is there a certain way you make sure that they're happy?
Um, I've always focused on product market or service market fit for the way that we do business and the way that we provide our services, engaging with our customers on how they need to operate, particularly power plants in general, but if you particularly look at nuclear power plants that are highly regulated, they have their hands tied to a certain way of doing business. And if I can help them by, first of all, providing a service that matches the regulations, but also to a degree, walking them through the process of how we can work together within that regulatory environment and give them the solutions so that they can see the roadmap and pull the trigger instead of trying to figure out all of the pieces themselves.
So I'm curious now. Hey, you're what, 6 years into your entrepreneurial journey? What's been a past challenge that you and the team have overcome, and what did you learn from it?
Todd, I would say the biggest challenge I had in the past was going from being a solopreneur to a team, because when I was consulting, there was a constant cycle of engaging with a new client and then engaging with a project, which then took me as the only resource to my business away from the marketing engagement
Mhm.
side. So there's this cycle, a roller coaster of marketing to project and back and forth, which creates a very big challenge to have enough stability to bring on a team. So I was fortunate that I was able to get through that because an old friend and colleague that I'd worked with in the past and a very good engineer, got in touch and said that he was interested in a new opportunity and came on board with me as my first hire. So that like initial hire was like getting to that point was a big challenge. And unfortunately, I don't have great advice except be lucky in your colleagues.
So now you've done a fair amount of hiring, since then. So what are some of the
Yes.
things? As I tr Hey, luck is very, very valuable, but I trust you're doing more than just being lucky these days. So what have you found since then to be instrumental in attracting that right talent? Yeah, I suspect you have very specialized skills you're often looking for, but how do you attract that talent and then retain them once they do come on board?
So, Todd, I look for like mindset and aptitudes, a culture fit and somebody that can, have a unique intersection of thinking outside the box, but applying that in ways that are within a framework. It's a very challenging thing to do. And that has, I found more to do with a framework than, or sorry, that has more to do with, you know, in some who someone is inherently than with their exact experiences. So I look more for that than particular skills. If I can find particular skills, at least in one area where they can hit the ground running day one, that is a huge win. Um, but when I find this people with the right aptitude, I bring them on and I train them in what they need to know because that has been a winning strategy. We continue to face the challenges of rapid growth as we bring on new people and are faced with customer demands. I need people to learn and develop within the role and the framework before I can cut them loose to service the customers. And that continues to be something that's you know, constantly is adapting and evolving for us.
So with the growth that you've been experiencing and continue to experience and that need to, hey, I hire for their mindset, right? The who they are and then train them more around the aptitude side of things. How are you thinking about that within your business and your team then of having the right processes and resources and approach then to help them come up to speed on those necessary skills?
Uh, so considering that it's only been a couple years, there's still a lot that we need to do, but we have a whole set of policies and procedures in place, and we have on-the-job training guides, um, and there's a lot of personal one-on-one training still. And I would say one of the biggest areas that's challenging is that when we have a new hire or a group of new hires, there's a productivity dip because the resources that we already have up to speed are splitting some of their time to training and developing new hires.
So whereas some businesses, as they look to grow, they have to think about buying more plant and equipment uh, to build capacity. Yours is so much around, the specialized skills and knowledge base that the team has. So your investment there is in building the people side and the support structure for them. Fair?
It's a huge investment in people. And, when we have turnover, that is a big cost to us. Um, I have always tried to lead by being kind of showing example by enabling people in what they want to do. And, that fits into like hiring for the mindset is finding somebody that sees the types of uh, problems that we're dealing with and will be stimulated by that. But as I bring on people, I pay a lot of attention to, job satisfaction, work-life balance, pay and benefits, um, because when I find somebody that's good value, they're worth their weight in gold to me.
So really a whole combination of factors then to have not only to get them to come, but also to get them to stay and to
It
thrive
is.
as well. So. So what's your dream? You look down the road, I don't know, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10 years down the road. How do you dream about where this business is going to be in the future?
Uh, so my motivation in the business is to really be able to solve problems. So my dream for the business is to, scale to a point where we can, still be agile and adaptive, um, but large enough to kind of hit the majority of the kinds of problems that you would see at a power plant. Right now, with our current service offerings, we're already helping with a certain degree of problems. But I would like to get to the point where we can, go beyond the bridging strategy and help them with, you know, scoping out and actually replacing new systems. Uh, and you know, I don't really have much more to add than that, Todd. It's
Okay. Well, you're new in, and I think for our conversations before we hit record as well, I mean, I think you feel like there's still ample upside, right? There's a lot of runway, right?
There absolutely is. I have enjoyed growing the business and want to continue to do so, but I'm not growing it for the sake of growth. I grow it because my clients out there need us to handle more bigger and more complex problems. So we're trying to keep up with what they need from us.
Very good. So continued growth in your service lines as well. So Sam, uh, the listeners here come from many different walks of life, many different industries, well, often are relatively new in their entrepreneurial journey as well. So you look back now on the 6+ years leading the organization. What do you think have been your keys to success? Hey, you sure wish you knew back in 2019 what you know now when you were starting.
That's a difficult question, but I think that's, probably the number one thing that I would have told myself 6 years ago is have confidence. Um, if you're setting out to solve real world problems, that and have an offering that does that, it may be a difficult road, but that's a recipe for success. So at that point, you have the solution, believe in it, and drive it to completion.
Have that belief, that commitment in it, because hey, there will be some twists and turns, some hills and valleys that get you through, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, so part of that, your learning and growth. I'm curious, has there been a book, a podcast, some type of leadership series that's been influential for you?
The most influential for me in terms of a book in particular was is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read that many years ago, and it resonated really well in terms of the importance of sincerity and communication.
Mhm. And any other things reading wise that get your attention?
Todd, a lot of my reading these days is actually for a different purpose. So the work I do is highly technical, highly focused, and so when I get to step away at the end of the day and do some reading, I really need a mental diversion. I read a lot of fiction of every genre, fantasy, sci-fi, historical fiction, mysteries. And that mental diversion is an amazing way for me to kind of navigate between the intensity of work and home life as well, and relax.
I love that because I think there's oftentimes folks feel like, especially I've become the business owner as leader, uh, my focus needs to always be on reading business books or personal professional development kind of things, thought leaders and that. But sometimes the best thoughts come when we get some time away. We get to escape, all right, and
I
and and,
agree.
and do
And
that.
there's a place for those books in development, and I do read them, but I view that as a like professional development time rather than, you know, what I would choose to do in my free time. And it's not the most important aspect of reading to me.
So, Sam, as we look to wrap up here, our time flies. What are the best ways for folks to learn more about Millspaw Electronics, to stay connected and to follow the progress that you and the team are making?
So the best way for me, I find, has always been personal engagement. I try to be available for people as best I can. So if you would like to share my email, um, I would be happy to do that, and people can reach out. I love to talk with people, even meet with people, have lunch, learn about them, share about myself. I love that personal connection most of all.
Okay. So, yeah. So while Sam and business have their website, which we'll have in the show notes, and also out there on LinkedIn as well. Check them out at Sam at willspaw electronics.com. We'll have that in the show notes as well to reach out directly and learn more and to see a good fit. Sam, also, since I know you're looking for more talent, maybe take a second, share. Hey, what are you looking for right now? So somebody's listening out there. It could be your opportunity to land a fish, right?
So we are growing rapidly, and right now we have 4 open positions. We are looking for sales talent, some support staff, and several technical roles, including engineers and technicians, ideally with electrical electronics backgrounds. Uh, and as I mentioned in the interview, people that are out of the box thinkers that can understand a framework and still apply to it, and ardent problem solvers. Um, as a business, we have competitive pay and benefits and good work-life balance, and it's an exciting place to be with the speeds of our growth and the opportunity to get in with a business as I expect that we're going to more than double over the next several years.
Very good. So again, very different types of roles you're looking for. Some technical, engineering, electronics, but support staff, sales, all right, but many facets of the business.
Yes.
So Sam, as we look to wrap up here today, what are you inspired by?
Todd, I am most inspired by the community around the business. And, that goes to my customers and seeing problems solved for them, seeing, what that means to their customers. Just everybody is a customer of a power plant. If you have electricity in your house, you have a reliable electric supply. And I've seen the part of that most people don't get to see, where there are real people working on real problems to make it, continue to operate reliably. And, there's a community around that. And there's a community around the piece of it that we have in the business with the people that have come onto the business and support it, and their families and how the business supports them. It's a growing ecosystem, and that has been a great inspiration to me.
Great. Outstanding. I love that. So Sam Millspaw, president of Millspaw Electronics, thank you for taking the time to share your story, rapidly growing business, segment of industry that has a lot of needs, growth opportunities, and vital. Not only we all want to keep the lights on, but also, with the rapid growth of AI and the power needs of it, even more growth on the horizon. So thank you for sharing your story.
Right. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah. And to our viewers, we hope you gained several key insights that you can apply in your business here as well. And we're thankful for you attending this session. Do ask if you could be so kind and hit the like button. That helps us get the message out. And as I mentioned before, hit subscribe so you can receive future messages like you heard from Sam here today. And with that, thank you all and hope you all have a terrific day.